There's only one option.
You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done.
Whoa!
Got a gun. Get out. You okay? This one right here. He ain't going nowhere. Great. All right, ready? On the ground. Keep his face up. No one on his neck. Stay on the ground. Turn the bucket. Relax. You guys everybody okay?
I knew you had it.
You got some reading glasses?
Those newlywed murder allegations. The Tennessee man is in custody. Authorities saying he killed his new wife while they were on vacation in Fiji. Janae Norman joined us with the story. Good morning, Janae.
Michael, good morning. A luxury resort in Fiji. It's the kind of place that couples dream of vacationing, but for this newlywed couple, it has become the scene of a crime. A woman now dead, her new husband now behind bars. More questions than answers this morning in a luxury vacation turned nightmare for two American newlyweds. 36-year-old Christy Chen found dead in her Fiji hotel room. Her new husband, 38-year-old Bradley Dawson, now charged in her murder. News of investigators charging the Tennessee man, rattling the South Pacific Island community where the couple was vacationing. Public records show the Memphis area couple tied the knot in February. The Turtle Island resort confirming the two were guests at the all-inclusive luxury resort. Authorities still trying to piece together how the couple's trip to paradise allegedly turned to horror.
My heart immediately just hurt for her family.
Fiji police tell ABC News a resort housekeeper discovered Chen's body lying on the floor of her hotel room earlier this month. The housekeeper alerted hotel management, a medical team later pronouncing Chen dead. According to police, Dawson fled the scene and was found days later in the city of Nandi, miles away from the resort where he was taken into custody. The resort telling ABC News, our highest priority is the safety and concern for our guests and team, both who we value as family, and we are extremely saddened by the event.
Christy was one of those people that the moment that you met her, it's that unique connection where you feel like you've really known this person throughout your entire life.
Dawson appeared before the local magistrate and remains in custody at a corrections facility.
When Americans travel to foreign countries and are alleged to have committed a crime, in this case murder, the local authorities will use their process. Mr. Dawson's going to be in Fiji for a long time before this case is resolved one way or the other.
And Dawson's lawyer in Fiji tells us that he intends to file an application for bail on Monday, but thinks it'll be hard to secure because Dawson doesn't have any local family connections who can provide assurances. Michael.
All right, thank you so much.
And a Fox News alert, the jury has rendered its verdict, and Steve Bannon has been found guilty on both counts of contempt of Congress. This is a very big decision because this is something that happens very rarely in this country. David Spunt's been following the trial, and he's got the latest on the verdict. David?
2 counts, John. These were misdemeanor counts. I want to read them to you. Judge Carl Nichols just took in this verdict from the foreperson. Count 1, willful failure to appear for testimony. This was before the January 6th committee last year. Steve Bannon found guilty. Count 2, willful failure to provide records to said panel. Steve Bannon found guilty. A remarkably quick turnaround. Jury deliberations began about 3 hours and 10 minutes ago. Typically, when a verdict comes back this quickly, it's usually not favorable to the defendant. That clearly is what happened here in this case. This trial began on Monday, and we are already at a verdict on Friday. Steve Bannon's team never disputed the fact that he didn't show up in front of the committee because he didn't show up in front of the committee. The reason they say he didn't show up in front of the committee was because he was covered by executive privilege, which is something that people that have conversations with the President of the United States, usually a government employee, enjoy. It shields them from providing records, conversations, whatnot, to any type of investigative body. The government, meaning the Attorney General and everybody, the U.S. Attorney's Office and federal prosecutors, they said that's just not the case. Steve Bannon left the White House in 2017. So at the end of 2020, around the election time, and especially around January 6th, Steve Bannon was not an employee of the government. Therefore, he was not shielded by executive privilege. Again, these are two misdemeanor counts, both criminal contempt of Congress. They carry each between 30 days and a year in prison. We're still waiting to find out when Bannon would be sentenced. He's not going to find out exactly what this punishment would be today. But John, Sandra, interesting to note, about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, during a few pretrial hearings, David Schoen came out. He's Steve Bannon's attorney, and he said that that's what the appeal process is for. So he was already preparing for an appeal. And the fact that Steve Bannon did not take the stand and his team did not put on any type of case before the jury is something that is notable right there. So this is something that is a rare case, as you mentioned. It's not done often in the Department of Justice for the Department of Justice to actually bring these charges. There is another person right now that's facing the same charges, Peter Navarro, another former Trump advisor who also told the January 6th committee essentially to go pound sand. He is making his way through the legal process right now. He was just indicted just a few short weeks ago. So at this point, out of all of the depositions, all of the testimony, all of the fighting back and forth between the January 6th committee and some of these characters, Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro are the only two to actually be charged in a court of law. John, Sandra.
Yeah, and to the rarity of this, it's the first time, according to Chad Pergram, that somebody's been found guilty on charges of contempt of Congress since Attorney General Richard Kleindienst and Watergate burglar G. Gordon Liddy were convicted in 1974. And if he goes to jail, the last time somebody went to jail was 88 years ago. So that would indeed be rare. David Spud for us following this. David, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Remember these headlines from the media when President Trump was diagnosed with COVID and removed his mask outside on the White House balcony? Quote, epidemiologists just want to vomit.
Wow.
Doctors disturbed after Trump removed his mask at the White House. And this, after Donald Trump's deranged balcony address, we're all gasping together.
Well, the reaction was thankfully much different yesterday when President Biden released a video speaking maskless outside. Fox News contributor Laura Trump joins us now. Laura, just want to listen to a little bit more of that media reaction former President Trump received when he ditched the mask after returning from Walter Reed. Take a listen.
Our president being sick is a huge galvanizing point for this country.
In large part, it's his own dereliction is partly to blame for this.
I look at this as a drunk driver who injured himself in a wreck and killed the oncoming sober driver. Donald Trump has injured himself.
The treatment he's getting at taxpayer expense is privileged treatment. It angered me.
He didn't take the necessary precautions to protect himself or others.
Yeah, so yesterday, Karine Jean-Pierre received some light questioning about President Biden releasing this video where he didn't have a mask on despite him testing positive for COVID. And the press secretary said, well, you know, he was 6 feet away from the videographer. They were outside. The videographer was wearing a mask. So is the disparity there because we're at a different time in this disease, or is it because it's a different president?
Well, Carly, you're not suggesting that the media is somehow playing favorites with Joe Biden over Donald Trump, are you? Of course, that is exactly what's going on here. It's rather amazing, actually, to watch the difference in coverage of the exact same location, the balcony of the White House, where Donald Trump stood, took off his mask. Joe Biden is there maskless as well. It's almost a 180-degree change in coverage when you look at the way the media has handled this. But guys, this is exactly the reason, and you can add it to the growing list, that people in America have very, very low trust in the media at this point, because they do pick and choose the way they cover things based on their own political affiliations. It's kind of interesting, though, because you see Joe Biden there, COVID positive, outside, no mask on. How many times have we seen him actually put his mask on to go outside when he doesn't have COVID? It's very confusing, I think, to Americans. But to go back to my father-in-law, you think back to October of 2020, when the Democrat-fueled fear-mongering was at a fever pitch for COVID in this country. They were terrifying people who likely would recover from COVID, that they had to completely change their lives, stay shut in. We know the negative impact that had, a cascading effect on our children, on our mental health, drug use, etc. To see Donald Trump come back from Walter Reed, stand out there on the balcony, again, away from people, the hysteria over him being maskless on a balcony outside, insane, but to reassure Americans that he was okay. And remember him saying you shouldn't let it dominate your life. Don't be so afraid of this virus. That was an important thing, I think, for Americans to hear. Of course, the media lambasted him for it, but he did what a president should do at that time, and led the American people and took charge.
President Trump took the mask off to show people we're getting through this, and now here we are with President Biden.
And this is our last stand for New York. And there's only one option.